totally realized I forgot to record an opening to this video, so, this is not the greatest opening in the world, yeah! This is a tribute, oh. Okay. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of The Hungry Heathen. This is the ritual that I mentioned in the last video that we're going to do. Now, I start all of my rituals off by hollowing the space. There are candles all around in here to form a circle of protection. And then I'm going to wash my hands. It's ritualistic washing of the hands. After I hallow this space, and then I'm going to make my offerings, and then we're going to do the ritual, and then we'll do the closing. So, if you're going to join in, and you have your own little altar set up, definitely some things, you're going to want some candles, some incense, any smell that you prefer. I have an abundance on the shelf back there behind me. Tonight I picked opium. Usually it's wood spice. It's literally my favorite smell next to dragon's blood. So, we're going to, if you're going to follow along at home, a small bowl to wash your hands in. I have this one, which is my bowl from when I first started practicing. So there's a lot of sentimental energy with that bowl. I use that bowl for my Yule ritual, actually, that I held out in our grove this past December. So, if you're going to follow along at home, and you have an altar, some incense, a couple candles, and a bowl to wash your hands in, all good ideas. Not a necessity. I'm also going to have some music playing in the background. I'm not going to turn it up too loud because I don't want to get nailed with a copyright issue with YouTube or wherever this gets posted. So, that being said, let's get into it, shall we? I'm gonna take a couple pictures too around here because I'm actually really proud of my room. I put a lot of work into it. So I'm going to try and probably throw those in at some point, probably at the end of the video. Now, that's all been said. Let's get started. Oh, another thing before I forget. If you're just new to this faith, I highly recommend one of those long Bic lighters for your candles. Makes a huge deal. So, let's get started. Now, the opening I have for this, I borrowed from our favorite YouTuber, Oleksiy Kaplunsky. So, let's get started. May the gods guide us. May the gods give us the gift of flame. May our deeds free us. May our oaths keep us. And may our ancestors aid us always. Hallow this place. Banish from it all evil and wrong. Shield us now from things seen and unseen that wish to do us harm. Protect us now from all baneful wights. May the blessings of the gods be over our heads. Now we're going to make our offerings. I invite now the gods Odin, Thor, Loki, and Tyr. I ask that they hallow this space and make it a sacred one. I invite them to this altar to join me in this ritual. Odin, One Eye, All-Father, I call now to you and ask you to bless those that seek the knowledge. Not only the knowledge from our lore, but through their own research as well. I ask that you bless their travels as they work their way down the web of the weird. Odin, I ask that you keep them hungry for knowledge and wise, so they may someday pass the knowledge they learn on to others. For this, All-Father, we thank you. Thor, Thunderer, Protector, Friend of humanity, I call now to you and ask you to strengthen those that feel weak, unwelcome, and beaten down by those that have spread hatred towards them. Almighty Thor, I ask you to protect them and keep them safe from those that wish them harm. Great Protector, for this, we thank you. Loki, Trickster, God of the misunderstood and mother of Sleipnir, I call now to you and ask that you comfort those who need it most. Loki, I ask you to wrap them in your embrace and pull them from whatever darkness they're hiding in. I ask you to help them find even a small reason to smile, laugh, and enjoy their lives. Loki, your innate ability to make even the hardest of hearts laugh is often needed by those in the darkest places most. God of the misunderstood, I ask that you comfort those who themselves are misunderstood. And for this, Loki, we thank you. Tyr, Battle God, Lawbringer, I call to you and ask you to lead the battle against the hate and the focusts. We ask you to fight alongside us as we defend our religion and Declaration 127 from all hate and bigotry. As we defend those targeted by those using hate as their justification for the words they say. I ask you see to it that those spreading hate are brought to justice and those affected are given the justice that they deserve. Tyr, we ask this of you and thank you. I thank the gods for the many blessings they give us every day. I thank them for joining us. I thank them for blessing us. From the gods to the earth to us, and from us to the earth to the gods, a gift has been given. So let it be. Okay. That was a ritual. Now, for those of you who saw, I have this neat little book. I write down a lot of things in it, dreams. My rituals actually go in there as well. I found that when I do an offering or a ritual, at first anyway, when I first started, writing it down was by far the easiest way to do it. Also, I know you saw me pour this. This is mead. It's local to where I'm from. Montezuma makes a good mead. You don't have to use alcohol. It's not a requirement. Just like you don't need one of these. This was given to me by a very dear friend of mine. This is my first horn, so it means quite a bit to me. That being said, you don't have to use alcohol. You can use juice. I have water up there as well because it works as a conduit, I guess. Now, the things you saw me offer. I have Loki, who I work with often, is actually quite a big fan of dark chocolate with chili peppers in it, which is this one right here. Now, I don't know if there's an Aldi's where you live or something similar, but those are really good chocolates, and they're really cheap. You don't have to break the bank to do a ritual. You don't have to break the bank really to have an altar. I'm going to give you guys a tour here in a minute of my altar, my personal altar. The other thing you saw me offer was super dark chocolate. I think it's 85% dark chocolate. That goes on my altar to the goddess Hel. Now, those of you that are new to this, the goddess Hel is the caretaker of the dead. She is part of my hearth, part of my praxis, because I respect her. You don't have to work with her. You don't have to work with Loki. I choose to because I see him as misunderstood, much like I do his daughter. They are all part of my practice. I have Hel's own special altar, which is next to my main altar. And I work with both of them. It's a great thing about this religion is you can expand. I work with all of the gods. There are even people out there that work with Fenrir. It's if you look at it from perspective of modern day, where you holding praxis with Hel is not seen as bad. It's respecting a service she provides. She takes care of our dead. Holding praxis with Loki. Loki, in some of the stories, like when he shaves off Sif's hair, he did it as a prank. He thought it was funny. That's the only reason he did it. But there's also the story of Skjaldmaer, where she comes to Asgard looking for revenge for her father, Thiazi, whom was killed by the Asgardians, which Loki had a bit to do with. Mostly because he was angry at Thiazi, tried to kill Thiazi, and ended up, in order to spare his life, sacrificing Idun. Now that I think about it, I think we're going to do that on this channel. We'll read some of the stories. Why not? It'll be a nice break from all of the cooking videos that I plan to make, which I'm going to return with next week. I have a bread recipe that I want to make. But, continuing. he made Scott, one of the deals was when Scotty came to Asgard that if he made her laugh or somebody made her laugh, she would see it as part of her payment for the death of her father. Loki, being the way he is, tied his testicles to the beard of a goat and proceeded to play tug of war until he passed out in Scotty's lap. This made Scotty laugh. The debt was repaid. But I think we'll read that story probably next week. Maybe we'll do a whole series on the Eddas and stories from the Eddas and the prose Edda. And I actually have Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. Highly recommend it. It's written at more of a storytelling standpoint versus a poetic standpoint. So the gods are characters. It's really good. It's a well-written book. Also, for those of you that are new to this practice, I highly recommend one of these to put your candles out with. The rule of thumb is that if you blow out a candle, you're blowing your intention with the candle. So, what else? Oh, I'm going to put the opening and the closing in the description of this video. They are borrowed. I don't want to say borrowed. They're more of a gift from Ocean's channel, which he got from Bayefeld, who runs. He is Wind in the World Tree on YouTube. He's an Anglo-Saxon heathen, very, very good. But that being said, I'm going to link all of the channels in the description of the video. This is also probably going to be posted in other places other than YouTube. So if you're catching this on TikTok, Wind in the World Tree and Ocean Keltoy, very good and informative channels. Wind in the World Tree is a gentleman named Bayefeld. He's Anglo-Saxon, but he has quite a few videos on things like ritual and offerings and such. Both very good resources for those of us that are following this religion. So, that being said, I'm going to adjust this so that I can give you guys a quick tour. And, yeah, we'll see you next time.